This is virtually like a playoff game with the high stakes, and I've been saying it like a broken record. It's about starting strong in a high stakes game like this. Jan Meliza almost got to do that also here. Tete was able to retreat, but they gave it away cheaply. Mirbach. Low cross. And source? Trust me, bro. Hindi. Komento ni Kenji Nishoka sa akin.
I was kind of expecting if it was trust me, bro. Pero we trust the source.
Oh, malamang. Galing, yung information na yun, galing direct from the source na.
But it does stand as a testament to the ability of us to attract.
As there's an attacking chance, and the Aguilas slip it in. Data had the bottom corner and the near angle closed, but the Aguilas just overwhelmed Kaya with numbers. It's a perfect start for them. They will look to sustain this.
Leading Kaya on, and let's have a look at this replay here. They have a lot of numbers, and look at that back line from Kaya. Just nowhere near it.
Let's take a look at this with our quad vision replay brought to you by Upstream Sports TV.
Then you can napag-iwanan ni Talaro yung dalawang nagbabantay supposedly sa area na yan. You could see the number 4, Maluman Soko, and the number 22, Arboleda, just slowing down. Apologies right there. Really risky move that was.
Because they gave up a corner, and it paves way to this. But it's a denial. I ran out of words there because he had countless shots taken.
Near the line. Linesman was spot on that.
You know, naka-fiesta yung dalawa. Going 2-on-1 right here against Villarreal. Eso hit that run of Ibrahim Adamu. Signing up for track and field. It's another chance. Can they get it to Martini in the middle? But Arboleda will shoot.
We're doing everything right. It is a very difficult pass to block that one, but then that leg up.
The Aguila side of the grandstand, and Isa Diallo to book that goal. Missed that as he had Martini Ray also, who was there in the middle. As we have a look at, are they shifting to a traditional formation? Ashuto hits the post right here. He did his job right here.
And they really tend to lean so heavily.
Forget for Shuto Komaki, because as much as he hit the back post, that was not a goal. But they still have time to chase the game and make amends.
Ooh.
Martini was in front of Shiraoka, and Mirbach's shot came off a defender. Martini was right in front of him. I'm surprised myself that Shiraoka was able to pull off the save somehow. Is there a shot for offside also in that instance? JV Kalukaran. It's not a safe lead.
Well, they do have some options as well. Talaro, Pickering, Amita. So there are a lot of cards that they are yet to play.
But here's Tete now. Buries another one to make it 2-0.
And Kaya has just been unable to stop that. Aguilas finding a way through their relentlessness.
They are celebrating this one because it's a result they desperately need. Will be further against the wall if they do not bag the result here. But what a through ball to set up that goal from Richard Tete. Take a look at this one with our quad vision replay brought to you by Upstream Sports TV.
And that's what I'm talking about right there. You don't look for the second pass. You take it on your lonesome. And look at what it's done. Take it first time. Don't be afraid. And that is paying dividends to Aguilas.
In the technical area of the Aguilas. Mirbach. It just sails over the bar though, but not so sure about the intention there. But the player down for the Aguilas. Mirbach to chase. No angle. But it is denied. Komaki. Could he make amends for hitting the post earlier? There's Mike caught in the middle. He gets it as expected. Jovin. Bedic. Oh, there you go. It's a trademark. Bedic goal when you need it the most. We did say they're searching for a lifeline. But is it too little too late?
And you could see you were really not expecting that goal to come from anywhere, but Bedic just hung on to that. Let's have a look at it here from multiple angles, the quad view by Extreme Sports. And they were not taking it. They were not expecting that Bedic would make that impossible shot right there, twisting his body.
Give it over to Martini. Try to thread the needle. Malumansoko shoots! And it's denied by Shiraoka.
I think he's just adding up the time that... No, he did not.
There you go. That's the full-time whistle. You can say this is an upset. The Aguilas held on. He banked on Shiraoka time. He banked on their defense. They made their chances count. And they made them matter.
Scott Cooper, who is a very familiar figure also, though, and I must say also, this is going to be a
two changes for the side of Scott. That's the pronunciation. Get the start today.
them against a tough opponent over Cebu. Meanwhile, Aguilas UMAK lost to Kaya, but it was an impressive performance. There we see the new kickoff that is going and making the rounds in football. It got sent off at the dying moments against Cebu FC, and so it's Oli Bias as right back tonight. Ooh, physical play there, and the foul is called against. Works the cross, but that's straight to the goalkeeper after a week. He'll be taking this free kick. It will be an in-swinger in towards the penalty area. It's met by Custodio and
Goal frame.
so Oma to take this against his former side. Outswinger. Again, good defending from Aguilas UMAK. It's retrieved by Patrick Reichelt. Offside is called against Reichelt. Yes, also the second top goal scorer for the national team. Here's Casemiro. Is he fouled? No call from the referee, or he does eventually make that call. It was Casemiro tripped by, looked like Oma goes for the far corner. Good hands from Shiraoka. Here's Amita in an advanced position. Amita, will he work the cross? He does. It's deflected, and it bounces dangerously in front of goal. They've been all over the world. Coach Jorg, in fact, has actually been all over Southeast Asia like Scott Cooper. So they've had similar journeys. Casemiro deflected out for a corner. Could have been much worse. Ball is sent in. It's met by TAGUIG head, and I think they're now a Premier League champion for Liverpool. So the footballing world, small and big at the same time. That was a foul, heavy foul. Game's first yellow card in that 11. Ball is sent in. It's met by Stephen Hom, but he is offside. So Nafishi goes for the cross, looking for Aldeguer. It's a bit overhit, and
They don't need to look very far. They can just look in their backyard.
Hiraishi taking on his defender. Cuts inside. Looks for Reichelt. Reichelt left it, but it arrives to Aldeguer. Agiemang. Still Agiemang. And still goes for the cross. Into a dangerous 30 minutes into this one now. Neither side able to get ahead so far. Oh, that's a mistake. Here's Reichelt. Want TAGUIG have numbers here. Reichelt has Aldeguer outside. Aldeguer, will he go for the shot? Goes for the cutback. Oh, it's an own goal. How unfortunate for Aguilas UMAK FC. That's Clarino who suffered the own goal. And one TAGUIG FC, after a quite even battle between the two teams, take the go-ahead goal. Andres Aldeguer, while he didn't get the goal, he will take the most credit for that play. He is the one celebrating on your... Yes,
Try
that's
to
right.
reach, that younger community as well.
Oh, Agiemang, dangerous area. Fouled by Amita. Outswinger. Ball sent in. Quite a mess, but yeah.
Definitely playing with fire there. Here's down the spine.
He wasn't going for the ball, I must say. Had any saving to do yet so far. So on that, oh, that is a very high boot. Sato is down. No foul was called by the referee. As I was saying, Kupic has not yet been tested by Agi. Oh, Reichelt is through on goal. To double the advantage, Reichelt unselfish, and that's going to be the easiest goal of his career for Isaac Agiema. Dick Reichelt, usually known as a goal scorer, turns provider here for Isaac Agiema, and it's 2-0 to 1 TAGUIG FC.
Quality work all around the pitch. Valiant effort from 1 TAGUIG FC. Again, taking advantage, pouncing on the mistake.
Beat Cebu and 2-0 up against Aguilas UMAK. Oh, is that a penalty? It is. Lifeline for Aguilas UMAK FC.
There's a pass from Bongolan up on top. And that's definitely a penalty. Ozinho got to the ball first.
Must say Kupic in goal for 1 TAGUIG is quite an imposing figure. It's Amita to take. Amita goes for the Panenka, and what a mistake that was. Against his former side. He will not want to see that back. Oh dear.
Goes for it and doesn't even go in frame. Especially when you're down 2-0 at the end, towards the end of that first half. It is crucial to keep you in the game, to try to shift momentum to your side. The attack to really test out that 1 TAGUIG defense.
Corner sent in. Dangerous. Casemiro. Eventually cleared by Aguilas UMAK, but that was another who missed the penalty to start things off. That is why the scoreline is what it is. And that was the first half. Here's Reichelt down the left. Cutting inside. Looking for Casemiro. Back.
Good evening and welcome to the second match of our Saturday doubleheader, and it's a big one between Aguilas UMAK FC and 1 TAGUIG FC. Joining us from the Rizal Memorial Football Stadium, it is Jing Hamlang and Ed Libasa calling the action on this one. Again, a huge match, particularly for the Aguilas, who are looking to secure their spot in the top 6.
Right you are, Jeng. It's a big fight feel here in the Rizal Memorial Stadium. Aguilas UMAK coming off a high. Fantastic 2-1 victory over Kaya last game out. That's exactly the momentum they need as they go ahead and take over the match leaders here tonight in 1 TAGUIG. I think they're going to have exactly what they need to go ahead and pull this off. Take a look at these standings here. 1 TAGUIG at 1, Aguilas UMAK in 5, and as you can see here, Jing, Aguilas UMAK, they're trying to fend off Stallion Laguna and Maharlika at 6 and 7 respectively. So any positive result here is going to get them further away from those two and behind, and a positive result here for 1 TAGUIG will pull them further away from Manila Digger, who, keep in mind, has a match in hand.
That's right, 6-point lead at the top, but with a game still ahead of Manila Digger, theoretically that is a 3-point gap at the top. They're looking to bolster their position at the top. Meanwhile, for Aguilas, a draw or better will have them secure their place in the top 6. So again, a lot at stake here this evening between Aguilas UMAK FC as well as 1 TAGUIG FC. Now let's focus in on one of the teams here. Aguilas UMAK FC have had a hot and cold second half to the season, on a run of 3 straight losses before picking up a huge win in their last outing against Kaya FC Iloilo, downing the defending champions 2-1. One of the biggest shocks of the season delivered by them just last week. What better result to take into this huge match as they close off round 2 against TAGUIG?
Exactly, and that kind of result can give you some sort of a mental edge. If you have the quality to take down a 2-time, 3-time repeating champion and a regular in the AFC competition, you'd feel confidence in yourself that you have exactly what you need to take it to the league leaders here today. Granted, TAGUIG, they have the best defense in the league, but Aguilas UMAK, like you said earlier, kind of a hot and cold season so far. Remember, they opened this season in a bit of a losing streak, but when they turn it on, when they show that quality like they did against Kaya, they can square off with anybody in this league at their very best.
And they have a huge test in front of them here. TAGUIG is a team that has not conceded many goals this season, and they're gonna hopefully need one here in order to be able to get the result they're looking for. Let's take a look at their starting lineup here this evening. No surprise that there aren't many changes for Coach Bing Colina, fresh from such a big victory in their last outing.
Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? This is clearly their go-to lineup as of right now, their highest quality lineup as of right now. I see they're going with a 4-4-2. They're clearly trying to set this team up to fight against TAGUIG down the flanks, which is one of TAGUIG's greater strengths. So perhaps if they can meet them at their own playing ground and trying to beat TAGUIG at their own game, they could see themselves with a chance for a massive upset for a second week in a row.
Ibrahim Adamo and David Coombe were singled out by Coach Arvin Suleiman as their key threats, particularly in transition. But the player that we are spotlighting this evening is Cart Talarok, who opened the scoring against Kaya FC Iloilo. He is a constant threat and source of inspiration, particularly on the wings. If he is able to unlock this TAGUIG side, it's going to be massive for his side. And if somebody is going to do it, Cart Talarok has a huge potential to do so.
I mean, you talk about workhorses in this league. There's no better person to fit that description than Cart Talarok. In that game against Kaya, he was running up and down the wings, sometimes deploying himself as a fullback or as a wide midfielder, but he did the most damage as a winger up front. He did score that goal against Kaya. It capped off a wonderful team move. This guy knows exactly where he needs to be. He knows exactly where his teammates are. This guy is fully in sync with his own team, and he could be the man that could lead them tonight once again.
So number 13, Cart Talarok, is the man to watch. Now, let's hear from head coach Oliver Bing Colina.
Expectation for this match, TAGUIG is a very strong team. And then they're most likely defensive team right now. They just conceded 4 goals for the whole tournament. But we'll try our best today. We prepare well. We do our part also today. We will just work hard and try to score and win the game. Thank you.
They only need a draw in order to secure the top 6 position. But speaking to Coach Bing Colina, he is uninterested in chasing a draw. He's looking for all 3 points here against TAGUIG, but as he alluded to, it's not going to be easy against a team that has conceded only 4 goals in how many matches now? 17 matches they've played. It is a very impressive record that TAGUIG holds, and let's focus in on this club right now.
Take a look at TAGUIG. What a well-oiled machine these guys turned out to be. Heading into the season, you heard all the hype, you heard all the praise when Patrick Reichelt and Mark Hartman were announced as part of the squad. And the quality thing about this team is that they delivered on that promise, and in such a fashion too that is so dominant and so impressive. And like you said earlier, they only allowed 4 goals in 17 games. Not only are they one of the league's premier offenses, they are by far the best defense in that league. They're going to be a very, very tough shield to crack.
5 wins in their last 5 games, 28 goals scored, 2 goals conceded, and those wins included victories over Cebu, Stallion, and those are big wins, especially getting a win in Cebu at the Borromeo Sports Complex. Fantastic record that they hold right now, but the big test in front of them right now is Aguilas, and it's a tricky fixture for them, especially with a side that has so much quality in their lineup. Let's take a look at the starting 11 right now for Coach Arvin J. Soleiman.
So it's a standard 4-2-3-1 yet again for TAGUIG. It's still relatively the same lineup that they deployed last game out in that 4-1 demolition against Cebu in Cebu's home ground. It doesn't get much more impressive than that. You take a look at the starting lineup here, the usual suspects. I mean, one of the best goalkeepers in the league, Minos Cupic, in goal yet again. Philippines international and captain Daisuke Sato. And of course, the one and only Mark Hartman, who has been such a revelation for this club and been so impactful in that club's midfield.
And it's a quality lineup that they have here, but still no BS, no Schrock, no Custodio, and you could still have Marcus Haber off the bench, Kurt Dizon off the bench. It's quite a squad that they have amassed here in such a short span of time. Patrick Reichelt was supposed to be starting today, but unfortunately picked up a knock during the warm-up. So it's going to be Naoto Hiraishi who has popped into this squad. If you are gonna pinpoint a man who is gonna be the difference maker, Ed, who do you think in this starting 11 that person would be?
It's got to be Stephen Holm. I mean, this guy does not get enough praise for the amount of work that he brings week in and week out. He is so defensively aware. He knows exactly where his markers are. He knows exactly where his teammates are. So even if he finds that his defense has been overextended, he knows exactly what position he needs to be in order to maintain that defensive solidity. And as a result, he is a massive contributor as to why TAGUIG has only allowed 4 goals this entire season.
Well, let's listen in now to head coach Arvin J. Soleiman.
So expectation tonight, no? I think UMAK Aguilas will try to push us, no? And try to get the 3 points. Especially meron silang momentum going to this game na tinalo nila yung Kaya last week. But for us, no, we will try our best, no, to get another 3 points here against them. For the players, I think they are very motivated for tonight's match, no. I think the players don't want to drop points, so I think that we are ready again to get the 3 points.
Arvin J. Soleiman, not interested in any title talk as of yet, as it is still early days for them. It's about one game at a time and making sure they keep their standards high. And they're going to have a huge test here against Aguilas UMAK FC, who have shown they are capable of pushing any team in this league to the limit.
Yes, but one criticism that I may have about Aguilas UMAK is that they don't score enough against the top 6 teams. Granted, they do have 44 goals scored this season, and they did put 2 past Kaya last week. But if you talk about the broader sense of the league, they've somehow not done enough to get more results against the top 6 teams. But given their current form and that result last week, perhaps this is the time to take it to TAGUIG.
So here we go. Kickoff about to happen here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. Top 6 on the line for Aguilas UMAK FC. TAGUIG have the opportunity to bolster their position at the top of the standings. It's a battle of 1st versus 5th, and it's about to get underway here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. So glad you could join us. We are PFL. So here we go, starting 11 for Aguilas UMAK FC once again. It's a familiar set of players for Coach Oliver Colina, facing a huge test against the team at the top of the standings.
Yep, right you are, Jeng. Usual suspects here, featuring the one and only Kart Talarok. His brother, brother Richard Talarok is currently riding the bench, but I'm sure we'll get to see him later. A very, very compact team, defensively organized, but also primed to take it to one to gig on offense. A very balanced team, I would say.
That's right, no Richard Talarok in the starting 11 today, and it's going to be a huge test as well, particularly for Unsworth, Palpalatok, as well as Reynald Villarreal, as they try to keep out a one-to-gig side who has scored 28 goals in the last 5 outings. It's going to be a stiff test, but if they're able to do it, a clean sheet today would guarantee that point that they need in order to secure a top 6 finish. As we take a look at our officials, Melaton Pelayo is going to be the man in charge. He's going to be assisted by Ismael Pasion and Ronelo Gitigan on the sidelines. Chris Mark Nanyola is our 4th official. As you take a look there at Daisuke Sato, who wears the armband for one to gig. Boy, has he really led this team to an incredible run so far in this league.
Daisuke Sato, he embodies exactly this one-to-gig mentality, that champion mentality, while also balancing it with an underdog mentality. They know they have the quality to beat anybody in this league, but they also are aware enough to know that they cannot take anybody for granted. That is exactly the kind of mindset that you need to stay on top of the league and hold it for so long. As we take a look at the lineup once again for one to gig, that same 4-2-3-1 for Arvin Soliman that's worked so well this season. Milos Kupic in goal, Mark Hartman, Naotori Hiraishi, a solid player who is just confirmed to have replaced Patrick Reichelt in tonight's starting lineup.
Patrick Reichelt picked up 2 goals in their last outing in that big win against Cebu in Cebu. So it's going to be a big miss, but as you mentioned, it's a quality replacement that they have in Hiraishi. As we take a look at both benches, lots of great talent on both sides.
What a fantastic set of substitutes you're looking at right here. Iko Mangawang in goal for Aguilas UMAK. You also have Enrique De Paula, who has been fantastic this season. Charles Pickering, Arnel Lamita. You really can't go wrong in terms of substitutes, game changers, potentially match winners on both sides. If we do find ourselves in a stalemate late in the game, any one of these guys can change the game.
There could be 4 places in between these 2 sides in the standings, but we're expecting a very tight game between these 2, and we are underway at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. One to gig getting us started, or rather that's Aguilas UMAK in their white kits, one to gig in their purple. Glad you could join us, Jing Hamlang and Ed Libasa calling the action for you from Manila. Bit of a warm evening. I'm sure it won't hamper the action that we're expecting between these 2.
Take a look at the possession-based gameplay here from Aguilas UMAK. You can see them building possession out from the back, trying to launch a long ball over that quality midfield of one to gig. Do you think it could be a viable game plan here, trying to bypass the midfield altogether?
And that looks like it's going to be a part of the game that Coach Bing Colina is going to keep in his back pocket, to keep one to gig penned a little bit lower in their defense, and certainly a part of the tactics that will be useful for them. Coach Bing Colina did mention that battling for second balls is going to be a huge part of their game plan today, and a key part of their training leading up to this contest, both offensively and defensively. So you've picked up on something very important right away there, Ed.
And as we noticed earlier in the starting lineup for Aguilas UMAK, it's such a balanced lineup that perhaps we could see them sitting deep for most of this game, but just as ready to spring on any counterattacks that may pop up for them. Now, granted, they will need to convert on those chances, but if they do, what an upset this could be.
Hom. And one Taguig have had a knack of having what it takes to win matches. And they've been very patient in their approach for most of their matches. They never want to force the action. And they know over the course of 90 minutes they will have their chances. You mentioned earlier there was a lot of hype heading into this season for one Taguig. At the same time, there were a lot of question marks around the team. Of course, you have the veterans out there, and Mark Hartman, Daisuke Sato, Patrick Reichelt, big names on paper. There was always a wonder whether or not they could still bring the level of performance that supporters have grown accustomed to. And boy, have they answered those questions in a big way.
And if I'm being completely honest, one of my main concerns about one Taguig heading into the season is that they didn't have enough center backs or enough depth in defense. We saw that earlier this season when they were forced to play Oli Bias at center back, which is far from his natural position. But I am so glad to be proven wrong. And here comes a dangerous chance by Aguilas UMAK.
Talarok, the man to watch for Aguilas. Getting past Sato initially, but this is what Hiraishi is so good at. It's not just about him going forward, it's about being defensively responsible.
And in this league where it's so physical and so difficult to sometimes get the ball up the pitch, you need people who are workhorses. Naoto Hiraishi is, in a way, their own version of Kart Talarok. He knows exactly when to track back. He's not afraid to track back. And if you notice, they just don't get tired, do they?
Mark Hartman, he's the man to pull the strings for one Taguig. It's a nice layoff for Andres Aldeguer. And Caloocaran coming in to deny any forward progress. Sato. Soome clipped a little bit on the release. Gonna go long here to Aldeguer. Caloocaran very good at minding where that ball was gonna land.
And JV Caloocaran, what a fantastic pickup he's been for Aguilas UMAK. He joined in the winter window from Stallion Laguna, immediately slots into the starting 11.
Onside is Kart Talarok. And that is very good defending indeed from Soome. Soome, central midfielder, knowing where the danger was, quick to cover.
Such a versatile player, Soome. Not afraid to slot in with his center backs if they needed additional help, and he was so key in stopping another Kart Talarok attack.
And these transitions is what Arvin Suleiman has been very wary of. Aguilas enjoying a bit of the ball here early on.
Not exactly what I was expecting. I was under the impression that one Taguig would be in control of most of the ball here early on. Could be wrong here now. Dangerous chance by one Taguig.
Villarreal unable to get to that one. Hiraishi! It's the opener!
What a fantastic goal from number 88, Naoto Hiraishi, who wasn't supposed to start this game. And lo and behold, he's the man to open tonight's scoring.
Villarreal was quick to step in to stop the transition initially, but the ball fell kindly to one TAGUIG. And once it was made into Naoto Hiraishi, look at the composure from the front man. It makes it look easy.
What a fantastic pass that was from Andres Aldeguer under so much pressure. He found Naoto Hiraishi, his running mate, places a perfect ball to Naoto Hiraishi's feet, and he himself fires a fantastic ball past Timothy Shiroka, who now makes it his 8th goal for the season, ties him as 2nd in the club.
When you concede against a team that does not concede goals, you wonder what that does to the morale. And especially when you've conceded this early in a match. Not ideal for Aguilas UMAK FC.
TAGUIG are top of the league for a reason. They are now reminding us why that is just before the 8-minute mark. Total surprise attack. And we were saying earlier before that attack, TAGUIG haven't had much of the ball, but it looks like they don't need to see much of the ball. They know exactly when to attack, and they made it count there.
Caloocaran getting forward. Second opportunity on that cross. Makes its way all the way to Cart Talarok on the opposite side. Stephen Halm gets a foot to it, and Sato can get some distance. All the way back to Unsworth. Palpalatok. Cart Talarok looking for support. It comes in the form of David Coombe. Aguilas UMAK having a bright start. Unraveled here. Held up well. They're not rushed here, TAGUIG. They want to tempt Aguilas out of their shell.
It's patient, possession-based play. No need to rush. You're already 1-0 up just before the 10-minute mark. This is now the time for them to impose their quality and their dominance on the ball, really making Aguilas uncomfortable and getting the mental edge over them slightly.
They're going to switch the play. Palpalatok getting a slight touch to it. Talarok trying to get past Sato. He's going to have a throw in. And perhaps yung nakikita natin pagkakaiba ng TAGUIG sa mga ibang teams currently in the title chase is just how clinical they are. They don't need too many chances in order to get their noses in front. And case in point there, Hiraishi, one shot, one goal for TAGUIG.
Just pure goal poaching instincts. And like you said, it all boils down to quality, because you can have as many chances as you can get, but if you don't put them away, it's not going to amount to anything. But TAGUIG, they don't need much chances to make it count. A slip there from David Coombe. Unfortunate to lose the ball. TAGUIG now gaining possession back again. Goes out for a throw-in.
A throw in here on the near side. Stephen Halm going to take this one. Bit unusual for the center back to be taking the throw in.
Aguilas UMAK, they're going to feel like they have a mountain to climb this early on. But then again, one of the positives, if you can call it that, of conceding early in the game is that you have the rest of the game to try to catch up and try to get a result. Aguilas UMAK, I believe they do have that quality, but still, coming up against a defense that only conceded 4 goals this entire season, that's going to be quite some mountain to climb.
For Coach Bing Colina, you hope that's not something that's playing on the minds of his players out there on the pitch. Teams who have been able to score against TAGUIG as of late. Cebu got one in a losing effort, as well as Stallion. They lost a 2-1 match. So there's a bit of inspiration to take from those matches in the last 5 games of TAGUIG.
And don't forget, the only team TAGUIG has not beaten this season, Manila Digger, who they lost to 1-0. Definitely a match that's on their mind. They can use this game against Aguilas UMAK to gear up for that game and sharpen up to try to get a better result in that rematch fixture.
One team that is going to be quite pleased with this current scoreline is Maharlika, who are still looking for an opportunity to break into the top 6. They are 3 points behind at the moment, with Stephen Hom here getting robbed of possession.
Perhaps a bit too confident on the ball there, held on to it a bit too long, got robbed there.
Peña, back to Coom.
You can see this TAGUIG defense already swarming whoever has the ball. You see Aguilas UMAK trying to play the ball centrally, the midfielders collapsing in. You see them trying to play the ball to Cart Talarok. Daisuke Sato and Naoto Hireishi are right there to mark him specifically, to make him uncomfortable and cough up that ball. It's swarming defense here that exactly makes TAGUIG so dangerous. And now here they are again, just winning the ball. Mark Hartman tries it from distance.
Shiraoka getting back in time. Attempt from close to the halfway line. You see there, Richard Tete. Yung pasa niya, medyo alanganin lang para kay Reynald Villarreal. At the same time, you have to appreciate the anticipation and the hunger to get to that ball. Agyemang gets it to Hireishi. Hireishi has it taken away. Tete. Villarreal. Peña can get it forward. Touch is a bit soft. Stephen Hom dealing with the danger. Aguilas getting forward. Mark Hartman puts a stop to that attack.
Yet again, that TAGUIG defense making everybody so uncomfortable on the Aguilas side. They have some good ideas trying to break through there, but there's always 1 or 2 guys already waiting for them, regardless of where Aguilas decides to go. It's how do you even begin to beat a swarming defense like that?
Sato bypassing the midfield to get it to Soome, who's making a good run. Coom. He's got Talarok in support. Adamu's in the middle. They're looking for him. Forosuelo with a header back away for a corner kick.
Timely interception there by Pete Forosuelo, who has been such an underrated player this entire season. Regularly starting at center back alongside Stephen Holm for a reason. Quality positioning yet again, preventing a goal from a trailing Ibrahim Adamu.
Pete Forosuelo, sabi mo nga, medyo underrated as a player. Often picked out as a potential weak spot in defense. But he's always showed the opposite is true.
I'm sure he's being picked out as a possible weak spot, maybe because he's not the tallest or the most physically imposing. But what he lacks in stature, he makes up in heart.
Punched away there. Milos Kupic called into action.
Getting feisty now.
He has some words for Unsworth.
Perhaps the mind games being played by Tom Unsworth, getting in Milos Kupic's head. Take a look at the replay here. Fantastic punch away by Kupic. Papalato, perhaps he saw Kupic down, perhaps he tried to chip it into an empty net. But you see there on the replay, Unsworth getting in Kupic's way. Maybe trying to get in his mind a little bit there.
Kupic unhappy with Unsworth on that occasion. A nice little exchange between the two. Referee Militon Pelayo putting a stop to that. Villarreal misses the tackle. Hiraishi. Shiraoka can catch that.
Just want to bring your attention to the battle of the goalkeepers here. Two quality goalkeepers going at it. Timothée Shiraoka versus Milos Kupic, both at the top of their game this season. What a sight they've been to watch. Single-handedly, they've had some performances where they've saved their teams on countless occasions.
Mahmoud Ali sending that one into the stands. He's in the right back position instead of Oliver Biaz, who has been a mainstay for coach Arvin J. Suleiman. He's not on the bench today. Could be injured, Oli Biaz.
Perhaps he did pick up a knock. He was running up and down the pitch in Cebu last weekend, but Mahmoud Ali, yet another underrated player of this Taguig squad. He can fit in that starting 11 seamlessly.
Whistle blown para dun sa nakitang hawi ni Issa Diallo.
Issa Diallo, yet another quality player there for the Aguilas UMAK. He's actually the club's leading goal scorer this season with 8 goals in 11 games.
Richard Dete all over his man, but he's been adjudged to have been a little bit too aggressive there, as he has called for the foul on Isaac Aguiema.
And you can hear Captain Julian Coombe barking orders at his defense and his midfielders. Not happy with what he's seeing. Perhaps he wants them to be a bit more compact to handle this one Taguig swarm.
And words being shared between Stephen Hom and Daisuke Sato. One thing that has been very impressive for One Taguig this season has been their consistency as a side. And Coach Arvin J. Suleiman, we talked about it, he's not at all interested in speaking about the title, but what he is interested in is maintaining their high standards. It's not an easy proposition for a team that stands atop of the standings and has built quite an advantage.
And you got to give Coach Suleiman his flowers. He didn't start this season as the club's head coach, but when he was called in to be the head coach of the squad somewhere halfway through the season, what a fantastic job he's done so far. Unbeaten ever since he took charge of the club.
And you're talking about big name players, potentially big personalities and big egos in that dressing room, but he's been able to find a nice balance in this squad. Palpalatok pushes it on first time, and there is a whistle blown. It looks like on the contact, on the release from Reynald Villarreal.
On your screen now is Isaac Aguiman, yet another quality player there for One Taguig. And if you pay attention to his performance this entire game, I believe he's been switching with Goldis and Casemiro as either the number 9 or the number 10 as an attacking midfielder. Such a valuable player in the squad.
I suppose that's a trait that both of these teams share in how they've been able to assemble such formidable squads in short periods of time. So much so that they've been able to push or even overcome the teams that have traditionally been at the top here in the PFL over the last few seasons, teams that have competed in that continental stage.
keep in mind, TAGUIG is a relatively young club. They only came into existence in the 2024 transition season. Their debut season, they were already fantastic. Last season, they finished, I believe, third, if I'm not mistaken. And now, league leaders by quite a margin, too. So what a fantastic development this club has been through. They've done some smart signings, smart personnel management, knew exactly where to improve. And as a result, this is the product that we're looking at right now.
This is the final match of the second round for Aguilas UMAK. Again, it is their decider of whether or not they're moving on into the championship round.
Yet another dangerous attack here by TAGUIG. Goldis and Casimiro, he still has the ball. Can he find Hiraishi? Yes, he can. One-on-one with Palpalatok.
I was looking for Aldeguer's run in the middle. We're halfway through this first half already. TAGUIG with an important goal to start things off, courtesy of Naoto Hiraishi.
TAGUIG just consistently finding themselves in dangerous wide areas down the flank. Somehow, someway, that ball always ends up with Naoto Hiraishi, who has already converted a goal-scoring opportunity earlier this game. But as you can see there, he was trying to look for Aldeguer or a running mate on the opposite flank. Hasn't clicked so far, but since they're already leading, who's to say that it won't happen again?
Caloocaran getting forward on the left flank. Isa Diallo skips past Aldeguer. Unable to get it to Talarok. Hartman now. Casimiro making the run, and Shiraoka is there to put a stop to that.
What a teasing ball that was by Mark Hartman as well. He can't take those long passes for granted. He will connect on those.
Casimiro called for the foul. A great range of passing from Mark Hartman. It's a joy to watch. Draws a bit of attention to his counterpart today for Aguilas UMAK. Justin Peña, equally with a great range of passing. It's a good take there from JV Caloocaran. Peña. Touch loose there, and that is a reckless challenge against Mahmoud Ali. Hand in the pocket immediately from Meliton Pelayo. It is going to be the first yellow of the game.
You're not liking the way Mahmoud Ali is clutching his shins. Definitely a delicate spot if you are a footballer. Clumsy two-footed tackle there by Peña. He's lucky to have walked away with a yellow card on that one.
I missed the ball completely. Peña in the book.
Mahmoud Ali, he's still shaking off the hit, limping a bit over there on the right flank, trying to get some feeling back in those that ankle. But good to see him back on his feet.
I hope it's nothing serious. Mahmoud Ali sidelined with injury in recent seasons. Otherwise, he was a dead-on starter most of the time. Kupic launching it. Casimiro getting a touch. An opportunity here. What a goal! Aguiemang buries it into the bottom corner. TAGUIG now 2-0 ahead.
Fantastic goal there by Isak Aguiemang. Finds a way to control a ball which didn't look like he was going to be able to get to. You see that goal kick by Milos Kupic, finds its way to Isak Aguiemang, somehow manages to dance the ball over to his right foot, fires it to the far corner. Timothy Shiroko just couldn't get there in time. 2-0 to TAGUIG. Clinical finishing yet again here, Jake.
Fantastic touch there to take it onto the outside of Unsworth. And just a killer instinct. Placement over power for Aguiemang. Gets the job done.
And it's proper positional awareness that secured that 1 TAGUIG goal. That goal kick from Cupich clearly was intended for Goldison Casimiro, who couldn't control the ball, but it did find its way to a ready Isak Aguimang. That's that positional awareness I was talking about, and that's exactly what makes them such a dangerous offense.
And again, 1 TAGUIG showcasing that assassin-like precision. They don't need too many chances. It's not wave after wave of attack. It's almost like they lull you to sleep, and then when they get their opportunity, boom, goal.
1 TAGUIG, they don't need much possession to do damage to you. They just need one shot, one clear shot, and as we saw on 2 occasions tonight, they will make it count if you're not careful.
On that second goal, Ed, it wasn't even a clear-cut opportunity, but they manufactured it. Just a half meter of space needed there, and Aguimang buries that opportunity. And now they've got a nice cushion here against Aguilas UMAK, who you could say are not being dominated in this game, but now find themselves in quite a hole.
Just going back to that goal earlier, and you're right, they didn't need much space to get that goal done. It was kind of a salvaged goal, if you will. It wasn't really intended for Aguimang, but still, it all boils down to individual quality, able to just shift that ball onto a stronger foot and curve it past Shiroka, which is not an easy thing to do.
Threatening to get a third here from a free kick. And Mark Hartman, we know his quality from a set piece.
It's perhaps the most dangerous man to see on a set piece, Mark Hartman.
He's curled it in nicely. Opportunity. It is in the back of the net. That is 3 for 1 TAGUIG.
It's Andres Aldeguer who makes it 3. Jing, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. Not even the 30-minute mark. But keep in mind, Aguilas UMAK is a team that's beaten Kaya 2-1 just last weekend, and now they're down 3 goals to the league leaders in 1 TAGUIG. Perhaps you could start to say, Jing, that this is now the point in time where domination starts kicking in. Take a look at the replay here. Again, it's a scrappy goal by 1 TAGUIG, who just makes it count somehow, some way. The pass from Mark Hartman, again intended to a running Goldison Casimiro, who fires it just in time to the middle for Aldeguer to get there with proper positioning yet again.
Great to see all the angles of the quad cam replay. And look at that. Andres Aldeguer, what a season he's having, by the way. We've talked about all of his teammates. He's flown under the radar quite a bit, but the young man has quietly put together a solid season, solid numbers.
And with that goal, that now takes Aldeguer to 8 goals in 14 games. Truly one of this team's premier goal scorers, and he has proved it yet again.
And he's doing it from the wing, Ed, which has been a big change this season. And look at this. Almost the 4th, as Aguilas guilty of shooting themselves in the foot on that occasion.
And you just gotta wonder, was that a panic play there, Jing? It didn't see quite the logic of Timothy Shiroka himself taking the ball up right in front of the 1 TAGUIG forward line. That could have been disastrous to concede a 4th goal just like that.
Test the character now here for Aguilas UMAK. Prior to the start of this game, the difference in goal difference, I believe, was 6. I may be wrong on that, between them and Maharlika. Of course, Maharlika have the tough test of needing to win against the only undefeated side in the league right now in Manila Digger in order to match Aguilas on points. And if they are able to get that victory, then goal difference comes into play. And right now, conceding 3 against 1 TAGUIG here is really making their position contentious.
And it's a good thing that you brought up goal difference there, Jing, because with every goal that Aguilas UMAK has conceded tonight, I believe that should take their goal difference as it stands to 17. Maharlika are at 14. It's inching them closer. with every passing minute of this game, Aguilas UMAK is losing their grip at 6th place.
Sato. Interestingly, Sato seems to be nursing some sort of injury on his right arm. And One TAGUIG are attacking here. Casemiro. Hartman. And that one is taken away by Coombe. He has an opportunity here. He's brought down by Ham. Clean tackle, says Meliton Pelayo.
I can see what you were referring to, Jing. Daisuke Sato nursing that right arm. You gotta wonder if he took a hit on the wrist. Perhaps he does have quite a wide bandage there.
He is gripping it to his chest, and he's keeping it locked there. As we take a look here, a tackle from Ham. Ooh, got the ball. How solid is Stephen Ham?
That's exactly what I was referring to earlier as we were introducing the lineup. Stephen Ham, just a pure wall in defense. He knows exactly where you're gonna go, and he's gonna stay there to get that ball off you. He just did it yet again to Julian Coombe in that instance.
Ball forward. Another opportunity here for One TAGUIG. Casemiro, can he get there? Yes, he does.
Unbelievable performance. Domination here from One TAGUIG against a hapless Aguilas UMAK, where nothing is going right for them. Milos Kupic joins in on the celebrations. 4th goal here in the first half.
Let's have a look at it here. Hartman releases. And look at that, he turns on the Jets. Casemiro in the middle. And he just slots it home in between the legs and into the back of the net. It's 4 for One TAGUIG.
And as you saw on that replay, that entire play was started by a fantastic through ball from Mark Hartman, unleashes a running Isak Agyemang, who plays a beautiful cross to a trailing Goldison Casemiro. That Aguilas defense just looks lost out there. It's clear that they're not quite sure exactly who to mark.
It's all unraveling for Aguilas UMAK at the moment.
Just got to wonder exactly what that halftime team talk is going to sound like. That 4-4-2 system Coach Colina set up tonight has been decimated, torn to shreds. They sought to play wide with the 4-4-2, but TAGUIG's 4-2-3-1 attacked them right where it hurts, and that was in the middle of the park.
You can imagine there are folks receiving notifications on their phones right now with score updates, and they're wondering, is this an error? 4-0, 35 minutes into the game. No, folks. It is indeed true. One TAGUIG is running riot at the moment. And there's that picture of Daisuke Sato, who's got that arm, not in a sling, but he's voluntarily keeping his arm tucked to his chest to protect it. And now we're gonna get a substitution as Unsworth is being taken off here. In his place is Kira Yamamoto, which means there's going to be a shuffle here in terms of the lineup. It looks like it is going to be Richard Tete to slot in at center back alongside Reynald Villarreal.
And Tom Unsworth, fair play to the guy. He's done his best, the best that he can, but it just hasn't been an easy night for that Aguilas defense. Been ripped to shreds by One TAGUIG in the first half alone. They're going to find some way to adjust. Richard Tete, he already looks like he's setting in as the center back, like you said, Jing. Perhaps they're electing to play a back 3 or a back 2. But still, whatever they're going to try now, it has to work, because with every passing minute, this game is already slipping out of their hands, if it hasn't already.
Again, goal difference, something to look at. Now that gap is down to 2 with Maharlika. So if they are able to get victory against Manila Digger, and that is of course, is still a big if. Then their chances of breaking into the top 6 are getting higher and higher.
And when we found out earlier, Jing, that Patrick Reichelt was going to be starting tonight, I thought perhaps that could be the opportunity Aguilas needed to take control of this game, but boy, was I wrong. 4 goals. Every single member of that Taguig forward line, Casemiro, Aguimang, Aldeguer, Hiraishi, they've already scored a goal each. That's how clinical this club is. I honestly still can't wrap my head around it.
Truly impressive here from the league leaders. Not only are they getting the job done here in the first half, they're doing so in some style. And now Aguilas applying that high press, giving it everything they've got. And Casemiro almost set free. Hiraishi picking up the pieces. Casemiro. The player still down here for Taguig. Collision between Sato and the substitute Yamamoto. Play continuing while the player is down for one Taguig. Caloocan eventually stopping.
It looks to be Aguimang on the ground there for one Taguig. Clutching his back, he might have taken a hit. Let's take a look at the replay here to find out exactly what happened. There you see, yes, it was Aguimang. Oh, landed hard on his lower back. Not a pretty sight. Clumsy tackle there as well.
Is that a yellow, Ed?
I don't see any cards being brandished out yet, and you have to question why that is, because to me it looked like a yellow card foul there.
Certainly came in late, got nothing of the ball. I think that's exactly what Mark Hartman is asking right now. Curious as to why a yellow card hasn't been brandished.
And I kind of do agree with him, with Mark Hartman. He's already talking to the sideline referees, the 4th official there, because on the foul committed on Aguimang, there was no contact with the ball at all.
It looked like an attempt to stop the play, actually, as he knew that they were going to get, cut open there.
It's good to still see Aguimang back on his feet, because what a nasty fall that was, especially straight on your lower back. That's going to knock the wind out of you.
It released the ball, had time to get into the air before contact was made, and he was absolutely cleaned out.
Completely swept off his feet. Granted, Aguimang was already in the air, but still, that was a late tackle. No contact with the ball whatsoever.
And it looks like Richard Tete has gotten pretty lucky not to get a yellow. Play resumes. 5 minutes to go in this first half. A first half of complete domination from one Taguig. 4 goals, 4 different goal scorers.
Before that incident that took place with Aguimang just a few minutes ago, you could already see the frustration fouls flying from Aguilas UMAK. They know they're being outplayed. They still want to impose their will into this game and try to make it a more respectable scoreline. But we're just not seeing it so far.
Halm getting into Mark Hartman. Forosuelo spotting Andres Aldeguer. Aldeguer turning on the jets here. And that's been an underrated part of his game that has been illuminated this season. It was just how much pace he's got.
Andres Aldeguer, he's one lanky man. He definitely can turn on the jets. Runs like a gazelle if you give him space. We just saw it there. Didn't get the ball that time, but he already has a goal to his name thanks to that pace.
Yeah, that's interesting, Ed. Lanky. That was definitely part of his profile in the past, but he's really put on a lot of weight as well and a lot of muscle during the off-season. And they've unleashed him out there on the wing, but he's still got that striker's instinct inside the box. Hence the 8 goals that he scored already this season. It's been a really important asset for this one Taguig side.
Just now a blend of pace and power. He doesn't look like it from afar, but if you get up close to that guy, he's a pretty stocky dude. It's good to see him putting in hard work on the offseason. That hard work definitely earned him a regular starting spot in this one-to-gig squad.
And you look at that lineup, it is stacked. And to earn a spot and keep it, that is a testament to your quality, week in, week out.
And if you think about it, even if you take off Andres Aldeguer from the game right now, you could replace him with a guy like Marcus Haber, who is yet another lanky guy with pace to his name. That's how stacked this team is.
Peña getting in the way of that outlet from Casimiro. Aguilas, fair play to them. Starting to find a bit more of a foothold in this game. Collision between Sato and Yamamoto. You have a feeling something is brewing between these two players. Sato having a bit of a laugh.
Sato, how about that? This man has so much quality. He doesn't need two arms to defend. Well, granted, you don't need arms to defend in football, but still, imagine being clamped up by a guy who has one arm stuck to his chest.
Some sort of discipline as well that you've got to have in order to not extend your arm in the moment. Clipped on that occasion.
Words being shared there by Captain Coom and Stephen Halm. They've been going at it ever since the first whistle blew in this game. Tensions are definitely rising in this game as we approach the halfway mark.
It's hard to believe that Stephen Halm is only 21 years old.
I did not know that. He's only 21. He certainly does not. He's not built like a 21-year-old, that's for sure.
Doesn't play like a 21-year-old as well. He's got a calm and an experience on the pitch that betrays his age. But you have to imagine that is potentially a star center back at the heart of your defense for a decade to come, for one-to-gig if you can keep him.
Stephen Halm to one-to-gig, that was one of the more impressive signings that I took note of as we headed into the start of this season. We saw his quality last season with Stallion Laguna, one of their standout center backs. He was destined for a move to a league leader such as one-to-gig, and yet again he's proving his quality out there, single-handedly marking guys like Ibrahim Adamu, Julian Coom. And we saw on some occasions he was given the responsibility of bringing the ball up to the midfield himself.
First half drawing to a close. And what has been one-way traffic.
3 minutes.
3 minutes added on. Haven't been too many stoppages in this first half. However, there have been 4 goals. So that's the 2 minutes accounted for right there. Brief moment where a player was down, Agyemang, I believe, who went down in the middle.
Again, you can see some arms flailing there from the Aguilas players. Pure frustration already setting in because they know they have the quality to put up a better fight than this. We certainly didn't expect one-to-gig to be leading 4-0 at this point in the game.
I don't think this was on anybody's bingo card. 4-0 against Aguilas before halftime. It really is quite incredible here from one-to-gig. Ball to the box, Kupic out to collect, and that is confident goalkeeping.
Milos Kupic, what a standout season he's had so far. This season with one-to-gig is statistically the best season he's had in his entire career, and it's because of awareness like that that's secured his team's stellar defense. A true anchor.
Yamamoto Leaves it for Palatok. It's a good move for Aguilas. Coom. Peña, left-footed. Wide at the target.
And would you believe it, Jing? That was Aguilas UMAK's best chance of the night. It went wide, but still a testament of how they've struggled against this one TAGUIG defense.
Not too many opportunities at all for Aguilas UMAK. But it shows that they're still got that fight in them, despite the scoreline. Seconds to go in this first half. And Aguilas looking to sign off on a high here before the break. Yamamoto unable to get past the duo of Sato and Hiraishi.
Swarming defense yet again down the flanks. And props to Hiraishi for knowing when to track back and support a somewhat injured Daisuke Sato on defense.
Long throw now from Palatok. Can he cause a bit of trouble here? And that could be it here for the first half. Halftime whistle from Meliton Pelayo, and it is absolute domination from the league leaders in the opening 45 minutes. They are up by 4 goals. Hiraishi, the emergency starter in place of Patrick Reichelt, getting the scoring started. And then goals from Agemang, Aldeguer, and Casemiro, rounding out what has been an extremely impressive performance from 1 TAGUIG FC so far. It finishes Aguilas UMAK 0, 1 TAGUIG 4 in the first half. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Rizal Memorial Stadium. It is halftime in this main event between TAGUIG FC and Aguilas UMAK, where it has been domination so far for TAGUIG. 4 goals past a fifth place Aguilas UMAK. All 4 goal scorers a member of TAGUIG's forward line. Take a look at this first goal scored by Naoto Hiraishi, a perfectly placed ball past Timothy Shiraoka. And more highlights to come from TAGUIG, from what has been such a one-sided game, which certainly none of us expected would be the case here tonight. But the league leaders showing their quality and exactly why they are the team on top there, Jing.
And that was their best opportunity there from Aguilas UMAK. And you see here, TAGUIG, you know, when they get their opportunities, they make them count. And this one, an incredible goal from Aguiamang. Just a quick touch to get it onto the outside of Unsworth, and the finish. Pure composure from the front man to make it 2-0.
And here comes that third goal. Yet another scrappy goal by TAGUIG, but still finding its way to an Andres Aldeguer tap-in, who was there, right place at the right time. This perhaps yet another possible chance here by Goldis and Casemiro, hoping to catch Shiroko off guard. But what about this goal? Running the ball up the field, finding its way to a perfectly positioned Goldis and Casemiro, who fires it past Shiroko for the fourth, and Aguila struggling to break through the stubborn TAGUIG defense.
All but 30 minutes was needed for TAGUIG to amass this commanding lead. As we take a look at the statistics, it isn't about possession for TAGUIG. It's about creating opportunities to be finished off. And look at this, 5 shots, 5 on target. Efficiency at its best. 5 shots, 5 on target, 4 of them in the back of the net. Incredible.
And like you said earlier, Jing, they don't need much possession to dominate a game. They are not a team who needs wave after wave of attacks to really impose their will on this game. All they need is a clear-cut chance, and that is best represented by the 5 shots, 5 on target, 4 goals, pure goal-scoring instincts, sharpness on the ball. And keep in mind, they haven't even had a single corner this whole game yet.
Again, this is a massive game for Aguilas UMAK FC. It's their opportunity to solidify their spot in the top 6. And right now, they are in danger of conceding their spot in the championship round to a Maharlika side that is still in contention on paper.
And the substitution confirmed here. Isak Aguiamang makes way for Marcus Haber. And Isak Aguiamang has had a fantastic game tonight. Already has a goal and an assist in that first half. Perhaps he was taken out of this game because of that fall he took earlier. He did land squarely on his lower back. Sad to see him go and leave the game for tonight. But still, what a replacement that is. Marcus Haber now takes the number 9 position for TAGUIG.
It might be as a precaution as well, because he took that heavy fall earlier on transitions. And you wonder if he's being preserved, but not a bad replacement to have in former Canadian international Marcus Haber.
Marcus Haber, what an imposing figure he is. I believe he stands at 6'3", 6'4". Definitely one of the taller players in this league. Has a height advantage on his current markers. If he gets a proper header on target, that could very well be TAGUIG's 5th tonight.
It could be his opportunity here in these 45 minutes to get a goal against the top opposition in the PFL. And they've gotten back possession here inside the opposition half. Hiraishi, ball into the box. Haber knocks it into the path of Andres Aldeguer. Unselfish choice there from the front man.
Those are those chances, those clear-cut chances that's what made TAGUIG so dangerous this season, and that's exactly what makes them so dangerous here tonight. It's pinpoint passing, knowing where your teammates are at all times. Awareness is key for this team.
Hartman touching it on for Mahmoud Ali. Koum walks away with it. Bit of a spark here from Aguilas. They're eager to give a better account of themselves in this second half. We saw from the stands here just how early they were out for the second half. Already in the middle, already in a huddle, well before TAGUIG took to the field.
Again, a chance goes a begging there for Aguilas UMAK, just not able to make it count on their offensive plays. Whatever they were trying against Kaya last weekend clearly isn't working against the league's top defense.
Kupic knocks it long. Why not? Marcus Haber, the intended target. Room to run on the left side.
Interesting choice to play it to Ibrahim Adamu instead of a running Julian Coombe, who now gets the ball back.
Kalukaran hopes not to put the ball in yet. Peña is going to go for it. Takes a deflection, and it's into the arms of Milos Kupic.
Milos Kupic on track for yet another clean sheet this season. This is the same man who has only allowed 4 goals to sail past him this entire season, having the best statistical year of his entire career. Clumsy foul there by Richard Tete. If I'm not mistaken, he already has a yellow to his name, no?
The whistle was actually going to get blown already on the foul against Andres Aldeguer. Militan Pelayo had the whistle in his mouth, just waiting for something to develop. Nothing did. I believe a yellow card was on Justin Peña earlier.
That's right.
Daisuke Sato coming out in the second half. Arm still pinned to his chest, but not going to be withdrawn.
Daisuke Sato, he is a warrior. If he feels like he can still contribute the full 90, it's going to be very hard to get him off that pitch.
100%. But it looks like this might be the moment. He's feeling something now after that collision.
Take a look at that arm, that heavily bandaged arm. That is not a captain's armband, ladies and gentlemen. That's a proper bandage right there. It looks like he's finally hit his limit here for tonight.
They've moved the armband over to Mark Hartman. The signal to the bench is that he needs to come off. You wonder if it's a shoulder issue, actually. They were icing just above it. They're keeping it in that bent position. Kurt Dizon being ready to come on. Second substitution now here for TAGUIG.
How about that as a replacement? Kurt Dizon, yet another familiar face in terms of the Philippine football landscape, having him as a ready replacement for your one and only Daisuke Sato. A testament to how deep this bench really is. But in terms of actual defenders on this team, TAGUIG is pretty thin. On the bench listed here, their only main defenders on the bench are Briseño and Ichiro Aoki. They will have to convert Dizon as a left back. Perhaps they're going to play him at wing back. But he definitely has that quality to use his pace up and down the wing.
Actually, it looks like Kurt Dizon is going to venture up in the winger position. It's Hiraishi who looks like he's going to be filling in to do a job at left back. And there's going to be a yellow card given here to So Ome for delaying the game.
Right you are, Jing. Hiraishi already slotting in on the left back role. He has pretty much already been playing that role to support Daisuke Sato through the entirety of that first half, helping out with some defensive duties. Only feels natural to convert him and put him on that left back spot.
Hiraishi, a man that you can rely on to do many different jobs on the pitch. One of the reasons he is so valuable for this TAGUIG side.
A true Swiss Army knife. He's been one of the very first players unveiled at TAGUIG. And He has stayed at the club thanks to his quality and versatility. Those are traits that you just can't find anywhere else.
Seven and a half minutes gone in this second half, and Aguilas looking to create an opportunity here. Ham getting a crucial foot to it. Corner kick now for Aguilas.
He's built for the big games, isn't he, Stephen Ham? Pure positioning awareness. Snuffing out yet another Aguilas chance. Too much to their frustration.
Four. Make that 6 now inside the box for Aguilas. Looking for a way back into this game. Chance here, converted. It fell kindly and converted well inside the box.
Issa Diallo, right place, right time, bags his 9th goal of the season, converts it off a scrappy corner by Aguilas UMAK. Milos Kupic is not happy. His clean sheet has been stained this evening. Take a look at the replay. Yes, there it is. It was, in fact, Issa Diallo. On the quad cam replay, the ball fell to him perfectly. All he had to do was to tap it in, and tap it in he did. Could this be the lifeline Aguilas are waiting for, Jing?
Quick reactions from Diallo. Signs of life now from the men in white.
You could see the TAGUIG defenders appealing for handball. Perhaps they thought they saw the ball fall on Diallo's arm there. It was not called. Instead, it got called for a goal. So as it stands, 4-1. Could it be game on, or could it be more of the same for one TAGUIG?
Yeah, Aguilas certainly hoping it's going to be a game of 2 halves. They've gotten off to a good start. Exactly what they would have hoped for, an early goal to provide the platform for what could be a famous comeback.
Well, we've seen it all in the Philippines Football League. This is the one competition where pretty much anything can happen. Who's to say Aguilas can't catch back up in this game?
They've certainly been able to break the resistance. Not many have. One TAGUIG just conceding their 5th goal of the season with that one. And Dizon clipped.
Kurt Dizon showing his lower body strength. Able to stay on his feet after the tackle there by the Aguilas midfield.
Wonderful ball from Forazuelo into Aldeguer. Could not find a teammate though. Aldeguer. Aguilas trying to release their front man. Getting it out wide.
Here they come again.
Diallo! And that's away by Hiraishi.
As you can hear, the Aguilas fans are back on their feet. The life is back in those drums. They want their team to fight back, and fight back they are. Already putting up a much cleaner performance in comparison to their first half.
Palpalatok taking up an interesting position there. Was threatening to run in behind. Trying to catch Hiraishi out of position. Casimiro. Ooh, strong tackle, yellow card looming.
Casemiro knew he went too hard on that foul. He knew he deserved that yellow. Take a look at the replay here. Lost the ball to a game, Kira Yamamoto.
Ooh.
Pulled the rug under him, swept him.
think he was upset that he was robbed of a highlight there because it was a beautiful nutmeg to begin with from Casimiro. But that full swing straight onto the leg of Yamamoto. Here comes another set piece. Into the box, Diallo chests it. Ali sends it away. Set piece is showing it could be a way back for Aguilas. They're causing a bit of trouble. Every chance they've had an opportunity from a set play, but So May here looking to break free.
And how about So May's performance tonight? The smallest guy on the field, single-handedly holding back that TAGUIG midfield as well. A pure pit bull performance here.
Foul called against Marcus Haber. If I'm not mistaken, So May, former player of the Aguilas. I think he jumped ship alongside Daisuke Sato to TAGUIG.
Right, you are, Jing. Omei-so is one of the Japanese contingent that joined Aguilas UMAK in the 2024 transition season.
Peña assessing his options, asking a lot of his right winger.
It's overcooked that ball there, Justin Peña. He had a good idea, but execution lacking in finesse. But if he connects on those balls, he's going to make this Aguilas attack so much more deadly.
I haven't seen him spraying those types of passes in this match. So May showing that hunger and desire to get to the ball once again as we approach the hour mark of our contest. Glad you could join us on the Philippines Football League channels. Jing Hamlang and Ed Lisava on the call. The player goes down under far from enough contact, according to Melton Pelayo. TAGUIG can continue playing here.
Richard Tete definitely felt like he was clipped from behind, caused him to trip forward, but referee saw nothing, not calling anything on that instance.
Now look at this from Aguilas. A desire to compete in this game on full display. They don't see this as a lost cause at all. They're eager to push TAGUIG to the limit here.
As it stands, Aguilas UMAK still holding 5th place on the Philippines Football League table. Still of course, still not the performance they'd be proud of tonight. Looking for, they came into this game either looking for a draw or a win to secure top 6. But so far, 61 minutes into that game, it has been anything but still, they're trying to put up a fight, trying to make it a more respectable scoreline, minimize the goal difference, so that way Maharlika will find it much harder to keep up. Because keep in mind, they will play Manila Digger tomorrow night. That's a tough task for them.
A Manila Diggers side that is fully incentivized, of course, to pick up all 3 points as they are in contention for the title. Milos Kupic, great anticipation there, picking up the throw in.
Milos Kupic, he's already let in 1 goal tonight. And with a guy with the mentality that he has, for sure he doesn't want to let in another one.
Go outside, go outside.
TAGUIG has not conceded more than 1 goal in any contest. No whistle. Ome unable to find Mark Hartman. One TAGUIG have been a little unlucky today as they've lost Patrick Reichelt to injury. They've lost Daisuke Sato as well. Potentially a Giemang withdrawn due to injury. That's 3 right there. Diallo. Unable to get past Ali. Strong challenge from JV Calocada, and he's going to get a warning here from Militon Pelayo.
Andres Aldeguer with a look of disbelief on his face. Could not believe that it was not called or not a more severe punishment on that foul.
If you're Coach Bing Colina, I'd imagine you're pleased to see this type of aggression from your team. Shiraoka. Tete. Yamamoto with a lovely turn. One TAGUIG not getting tempted into getting out of their shape.
Richard Tete doing a fantastic job so far at center back. Remember, he's not a natural center back. He is a 6 by nature. But still, what a goal. Oh, what a chance that could have been by Julian Coombe. Tried to get it on his right foot. Perhaps didn't hit it as cleanly. And now it's out for another throw-in by one TAGUIG.
Double change looming for Aguilas UMAK. Shortly we're going to see William Cosenza as well as Mikalu Gibrila. Mark Hartman trying to get this to Marcus Haber. Casemiro can get there. He's tripped up. Is that a penalty? Nope. Militon Pelayo saw it all the way. Calocada. He's got a lot of room to run. Adamo. Diallo. Coombe. Diallo. Adamo linking up well. Diallo is caught offside.
It was such a good idea by Aguilas UMAK. A quick 1-2 play between Ibrahim Adamu and Issa Diallo. Let's take a look at the replay here, see if he was offside.
It's a tight one.
Just beyond the shoulder of Pete Forasuelo. Called offside in that instance. Spoiled what could have been such a beautiful play. And here comes the double substitution that you were referring to earlier, Jing. Kyle Consenza and Mikhailo Gibrila coming in for Ibrahim Adamu and Kart Talarok. Kart Talarok, we had him pegged as a man of the match, or man to watch heading into this game, but he has been kept quiet by a combination of Daisuke Sato and Naoto Hiraishi. Not an easy thing to do.
One of the quietest Kart Talarok performances we've seen so far this season. No surprise that Cosenza is going to be given an opportunity to impress.
Kyle Consenza, he brings in pace to this team. He has some creativity on the wings as well. He can play either as a winger or as a midfielder. A versatile option, could be exactly what Aguilas needs. Here comes one TAGUIG again.
Andres Aldeguer trying to restart the attack here for one TAGUIG. They haven't had many opportunities in this second half. After all the changes, their chemistry has been somewhat scuppered. Omey able to make something out of a very difficult situation. Aldeguer. Peña clears. Hiraishi judging the spin of the ball well. Dizon navigating the pressure. Lifted into the run of Ali. Caloocaran will see this one out.
You can see the toll this match has taken on JV Caloocaran, struggling to get slow to get back on his feet there. He's been running up and down the wings his entire game. Fatigue is definitely setting into these Aguilas players, who's been having to work more this second half in order to try and make up ground against a TAGUIG team who is still far from view.
Diallo. Tough physical task there against Pete Forosuelo, and it's going to be a goal kick.
Isa Diallo is beside himself. He cannot believe that call. He's convinced that it should have been a corner kick.
May have a point there. Look like a corner in real time. We'll have to see that one again.
Certainly looked like a corner view. He went through so much effort to make sure the ball goes out on a TAGUIG defender. Did not get the call that he wanted. Perhaps we're going to need a replay on that. But Aguilas are now playing mad.
Player down. It's Diallo. It looks like he may need some treatment here. Let's have a look at that incident. Diallo going shoulder to shoulder. Is the ball out here? Not yet. Off the foot? Or did it go out before it hit Forosuelo? Looked like it touched Forosuelo before going out.
From that angle, it certainly looked like it made contact with Forosuelo's boot. But as it stands, it is what it is. It was called as a goal kick. On your screen now is Hamid Hajimadi. He looks like he's about to come on for Goldis and Casemiro. Casemiro's night has ended. He's put up a fantastic game here today. 1 goal to his name. And in his place is a true veteran of the Philippines Football League, Hamid Hajimadi.
He's going to get 20 minutes here, Hamed. In a game that is being played at quite a pace. Haber. Loses out to Tete. Coom. Losing out on that one, but illegally, says Meliton Pelayo. Hamid Hajimadi called for the foul.
Aguilas now, they've already scored from a set piece earlier this game off a corner kick. They certainly want to make full use of these set piece plays. They haven't had much chances to bring the ball past TAGUIG in open play. Perhaps they can convert here again. It looks to be a toss-up between Brian Palpalatok and, if I'm not mistaken, Justin Peña on who will be the taker of this free kick. Very, very promising angle and distance.
Lining this one up, Palpalatok. Looks like he's gonna go for it. And it's straight into the arms of Milos Kupic.
Certainly got the direction right, but lacking in power. You're gonna need more than that to beat a very game Milos Kupic.
Forosuelo. Nice little grass cutter to Hamid Hajimadi. He was looking to release Mahmoud Ali. Villarreal with a bit of room. Tete all the way back to Shiraoka now. Playing into the channel. Looking for the run of the substitute. And Stephen Hom putting his body on the line. Flag is raised already. And it's not going to count for Aguilas UMAK. Flag raised on the far side.
It's heartbreaking here for Aguilas UMAK. They feel like they've finally been breaking through, finally been making the right plays to unlock this Taguig defense. Just being caught offside in, I believe, the second instance in this second half already. What a chance this could have been. A scuffle here in the box between Cupich and Kum. Frustrations and tensions boiling over.
Officials now needing to take control. Yellow card already given to Milos Cupich. And there's going to be a yellow card given to the captain of Aguilas as well.
Here comes the replay of what has transpired here. You can see Jibrila trying to play the ball in.
And that was where the flag was raised. So that was a foul, apparently, on the substitute. And trying to get the play restarted quickly.
So it was not an offside call. Rather, it was a foul near the touchline.
Oh, it's a corner. So they're saying the ball went out. Again, an interesting call.
Interesting developments here in the past 2 minutes indeed. A goal that was called off to what we thought was offside, but apparently was a foul. And not only that, it appears the ball was already out. And now we have a corner.
That I did not see it. I did not see the ball cross the line on that play.
Neither did I, but as it stands, Kira Yamamoto is already lining up to take a corner here. And keep in mind, they already scored a goal from a corner earlier. Could this be the second that they're looking for?
Boy, would love to see that one again. Played short. Ball delivered. Headed away by Stephen Hom.
Stephen Hom, he's still a tough man to beat.
Peña had it taken away. White shirts inside the box here. Hom heads that one away, and this one will end up into the arms of Cupich.
Frustrating developments here by Aguilas UMAK. So close, but still so far away. Struggling to really score past a very game one Taguig defense. Naoto Hirishi carrying the ball up with his running mate. I believe that is Mark Hartman. Yes, fires the ball to Haber, who's had a quiet game himself so far.
Hajimadi. Ali gets it to Aldeguer, holding off the challenge of Caloocaran well. All the way back to Cupich. One Taguig, after scoring 4 goals in that first half, I've had a very quiet second. Haber touch. Bit loose for Aldeguer. Caloocaran getting it wide. Spots the run in behind. Cosenza will get there. Stephen Hom on him very quickly. And here comes some substitutions. We're going to see a pair of them. Mohamed Al-Mashuri will come on alongside Ricredo Bukit.
It's lovely to see the Indonesian duo coming in to help the squad salvage a more respectable result. But that is the end of the night for both Issa Diallo and Julian Kum. Much to their frustrations. Again, Kum already has a yellow card to his name, was involved in an incident with the Taguig goalkeeper, Milos Cupich. Perhaps he could have felt like he could have done more to help his team tonight, but as it stands, his night is already over. Already signaled to come over to the bench.
What a chain of events that have transpired here in the last few minutes. Aguilas thinking they had been the first team to be able to score 2 goals against TAGUIG, having that goal ruled out in a rather head-scratching fashion.
And you see how frustrating that is for any other Philippines Football League team when they play against TAGUIG. It's already hard to score 1 goal against them. But when you're down this big, might as well.
Great pass. Just beyond the intended target there, Mikhailu Gibrilia.
And again, yet another clever idea by the Aguilas UMAK offense. Just not able to connect on any of their attempts so far.
Nice turn from Hartman. Nice little touch from Hajimari to break free. Book it back to Shiraoka, who's under a bit of pressure here. Book it, the intended target. It's a delicate take. Ali got a touch to it, but not enough to take possession away. It's been all Aguilas.
Perhaps TAGUIG, already confident in their lead, decided to play a more defensive second half to try to conserve energy for their remaining fixtures.
Long throw. Got a lot of distance on that Bukit. Push called on Furosuelo.
Ricardo Bukit, he has those long throw-ins in his arsenal. He has cannons for shoulders, cannons for arms, I mean.
Ten minutes and change remaining in regulation. One-way traffic in the first half, much more competitive here in the second. Running into trouble. Andres Saldiger picks it up for TAGUIG. Kupic releasing it, and Hajimadi is free. He's gonna go for it. And Shiraoka there to collect.
What a moment that would have been if TAGUIG score a 5th off Hamid Hajimadi himself. Luckily for Aguilas, Shiraoka was on his line, ready to prevent any more goals from getting into the back of his net.
The way this second half has unraveled, it has been a tale of 2 halves. But not quite as goal-filled for Aguilas UMAK as it was for TAGUIG in the first.
TAGUIG that first half played a picture-perfect style of play that just unlocked that Aguilas defense. Those 4 goals, Aguilas really couldn't do anything about any of them. It's a foul here on Marcus Haber. I believe the ball was judged to go back to Aguilas. Haber not happy with that call.
You can't believe there that he was called for the foul.
Take a look at the replay here.
Felt he won that one cleanly. It's a 50-50. Perhaps just a little bit slightly behind Reynald Villarreal.
It's definitely a tough call to make. It's not easy being a Philippines Football League referee, that's for sure.
Stephen Hom getting it away from danger. Loose touch from Villarreal. And he's managed to keep that one in play. Shiraoka will carry this on his own. Bukit gets it to the man wearing the armband now, Justin Peña. Straight to Forosuelo.
It's Haber. Haber had a chance to run. He hasn't had many chances like that, but is called on a foul there. Marcus Haber has had a quiet game here ever since coming on in the second half. Hasn't had much chances to do much with the ball, really. Spare for a couple of headers here and there.
Nakita mo yung mukha ni Marcus Haber doon. Yung tingin niya sa assistant referee. Baka naman. Ako naman. He does get the whistle here. And it's Mark Hartman with an opportunity to create a little something here for TAGUIG. Chances have been at a premium in the second half.
Certainly the last guy that you'd want to see taking a free kick on the 83rd minute when you're trying to claw your way back into this game. Mark Hartman fires it.
Dizon got a touch. Shiraoka up to collect. And he gets the transition started on the right side. All the way back to Palpalatok. They swing it. Richard Tete. Looking to get it wide. Bukit now. He's been lively since coming on. Al-Mashuri. Kalokaran. First touch was good. The second into the stands.
That ball was sent all the way back into LaSalle campus. Had a clean first touch there. Had a good idea. Lacking in execution, which you could say is the best way to describe Aguilas' performance this entire night.
They've showed potential. They've shown that they're a threat getting into the final third, but that final ball, that final product, not quite there. Barring, of course, that goal from a set piece. Ball will stay with TAGUIG.
Now, if you're Maharlika watching this from home, you're going to be wanting to root for TAGUIG here tonight to score a fifth to bring the goal difference back to a -4 tonight for Aguilas UMAK.
Hiraishi. Trying to wriggle free. Dizon. And Hiraishi combining well here. Kurt Dizon. Running into a pesky Reynald Villarreal. And Reynald Villarreal almost coming away with it. Dizon now can deliver a ball into the box. Aldeguer! Just wide.
But what a pesky defender Reynald Villarreal can be. You can see him here on the replay, hounding Kurt Dizon, making him as uncomfortable as possible. But that was a perfect cross to Andres Aldeguer. Haber couldn't get there in time for the rebound.
Kalokaran getting it forward. Forosuelo. Wonderful pass to find Mark Hartman. He's navigated the pressure well.
87th minute of the game. the window of opportunity might as well be closed here for Aguilas UMAK unless they have something to say about it to make this a respectable scoreline at least.
Seems as if the points are off the table. Just about ensuring that they keep their goal difference as high as possible. And here's an opportunity from distance. And that's well off target.
He's not on your camera right now, but we can see Daisuke Sato by the 1 TAGUIG bench already dancing in celebration. His arm already looking recovered there.
3 points in the bag. They push up in the standings. And meanwhile, for Aguilas UMAK, it's going to be a long sweat for them as they watch Maharlika take on Manila Digger tomorrow evening. Manila Digger trying to keep the pressure on 1 TAGUIG. And meanwhile, Maharlika, it's their final opportunity to try to get into the championship round. Currently inhabited by the top 6 teams, which are 1 TAGUIG, Manila Digger, Cebu. We've got Kaya, Aguilas, and Stallion.
I would say those 6 teams are pretty much what the majority of the fan base were expecting to make it to the championship round. But still, we still have some games here left to go in the second round here. Still some room for some changes in and around the championship table, such as Maharlika, their last chance to make it in tomorrow.
They're trying to curl that one. Didn't quite get the bend. When you look at a game like this, the scoreline might be a bit misleading. But Aguilas, in that championship round, if they do qualify, are going to be a handful for any of those other 5 teams in the top 6. It makes for very interesting viewing for all of our supporters here in the Philippines Football League.
Tonight's game was just not the best example of what they could do. They looked a bit off in that first half, maybe a step and a half slower. But in this second half, for anybody who watched this game, they'll know that this was pretty much the Aguilas that we were expecting. Defensively, they got their rotations right, they got their markers right, and much to their frustration, you just got to wonder, where was this in the first half?
Looking for a Bukit. Mahmoud Ali, solid as ever, gets there first.
Mahmoud Ali, he's been fantastic this entire game, single-handedly locking down the right flank on defense. Clever turn there for Haber, who now gets the ball, but is called offside.
Double substitution now on the horizon here for 1 TAGUIG. Aspiras being readied to come on. He's going to be joined by Ichiro Aoki. Lovely pass from Justin Peña. Opportunity here for Aguilas. Kupic with a save. Bukit. Can he get it on target here? Unable to pull the trigger. It goes down under the challenge from Aldeguer, and he gets an earful from Forosuelo as well.
What a blown chance that was from Aguilas. Off a fantastic save by Milos Kupic. The ball fell perfectly for Bukit, but he looked like he panicked for a second there. Found himself a bit too open, didn't really know what to do with the ball at his feet. He could have fired it. He should have fired it into the goal there, regardless if Kupic was ready or not. You have to take those chances.
So Omei makes way for Diego Aspirases. Take a look at this. Couldn't pull the trigger. Opening wasn't quite there, and then takes the contact from Aldeguer, falls over, and Forosuelo on top of him. There's a player down, and it looks like it's Mahmoud Ali who is needing to be stretchered off.
Mahmoud Ali, you hate to see his night end like this. He's been such a warrior this entire game, holding back waves after wave of Aguilas offense. Looks like he couldn't get back up from this one. You hate to see it, but I'm hoping it's nothing serious.
Not quite sure what the incident was that led to Mahmoud Ali needing to be stretchered off. But it looked like he was gonna be replaced anyway by Aoki here. And you hope Ali recovers fast for TAGUIG.
Especially with those championship round games coming up soon, you're gonna want to need your full squad ready. What a loss that would be to have Mahmoud Ali off the squad for those games.
Last 30 seconds before we enter an extension of added time. Halm heads it away. Peña gets it out wide to Kalukaran. Halm not taking any chances. That's going to be out for a corner kick.
Halm's taken out on that play. He's still on the ground, not able to get back up. But yet again, in those past 2 minutes, he's had some two crucial interceptions to maintain TAGUIG's lead. He's still not getting back up. Let's see what happened here. He took a direct hit to the knee there from, I believe that was Kyle Cosenza. Not a pretty hit, clearly in a lot of pain. Good to still see him back on his feet.
Final opportunity for Aguilas to have a last say in this contest. There will be no points for them to be had. Kupic punches away. Is there time for a consolation? And there is the final whistle. Aguilas getting the better of TAGUIG in this second half, but far from enough to overcome a 4-goal deficit as a TAGUIG extend their lead at the top of the standings.
Yet another dominant performance in the first half from TAGUIG. They had a fast start, scoring 4 goals in a span of 15 minutes, if I would say. Aguilas UMAK able to turn it around in the second half, scoring a goal of their own in the 54th minute, courtesy of Issa Diallo. But from that point on, it's just been chance after chance, not being able to connect on any of them. Aguilas will rue those missed chances as they failed to come away with any points tonight, opening the door for a possible Maharlika entry into the top 6, depending on their result tomorrow against Manila Digger.
Aguilas did their best in the second half, and to be fair to them, we saw more of that fighting spirit, more of that quality that they've created in this season so far. This goal provided them a bit of life in this match, but ultimately 4 goals was always going to be a little too much to come back from. And now they sweat as Maharlika take on Manila Digger tomorrow night, and that will decide who will qualify into the top 6. But that does it for us here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. It's been an eventful day of football in the Philippines Football League. TAGUIG continues to ride high, continues to be dominant as they maintain their position in the top of the pile. For my partner, Ed Lisaba, my name is Jing Hamlang. Thank you for watching. Good night. God bless.
I thank my coaches. You know, we apply what we were taught. Pass. You already saw the win in Cebu. You know, nothing changed. You know, we keep on working and working until the end. We never lose, or we never take any game for granted. You know, you can see the team how they are working hard, the coaches and staffs. Look at the atmosphere. Everybody is happy to come and watch, so we don't need to just embarrass them on the field, you know, of play. So that's how it works, you know.
What went well during the game?
You know, we stay compact, you know, the tactics and everything. We listen to the coaches and my teammates. We work as a team, you know. That's why we are one TAGUIG, you know. We play big. We never do. Yes.
Do you have a message for the fans?
Oh, thanks everyone and one TAGUIG fans and other things for coming and watching the game. I hope to see them soon during the 2 games left for us. And hopefully we will win the 2 games. Thank you.